Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is that was it a weird angle? Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to Talking Live with Reco. I am, of course, Reco Chappelle, and we are here with today's guest, plus size fashion designer to the stars. Like I said that to the stars, Miss Jasmine Elder. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the children who are you, where you been, where you going, who you dress, and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of the Rico Chappelle show. I have to do it my way. It's just the way I'm my name is Jasmine Elder. I'm the designer and creator of Jibri Plus Size Apparel. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. We're online. We have a showroom in Norcross. I've been in this game for about 12 years, 12 to 15 years, selling for about 11 years at this point. The collection is for plus size women who have a everyday glamour about themselves, ready to wear garments. And I can be found at JibriOnline.com.
Okay. So tell us about Jibri in the early years. Like, how did you get started? What was your inspiration, etc.? So I gotta tell y'all, we talk every day, so I already know these. I already know these answers. So I want you, the public, to know, like, what's going on. Like, how was Jibri founded?
Okay, first, did you hear a weird sound in the back?
No, we're fine.
Okay, so Jibri was actually a childhood friend that I met in high school. He was a designer in Atlanta in the mid to late 90s. I was a little bit of a club kid in high school. I'm from Decatur.
Hold up, club kid meaning the gate, Hamilton Road club kid.
Club kid like Party Monster.
Okay, I got you.
Rave type thing, and that was all from just magazines and things I'd seen on TV from, I was born and raised in Decatur, Georgia. So my wardrobe was like a mishmash of crafty, glittery, over the top, drag-esque type garments. And a friend of mine was like, "Your clothes are so raggedy, but I see where you're going with this. Let me introduce you." Let me introduce you to this guy. And it was Jibri. And he kind of took me under his wing. He taught me how to sew. He taught me how to construct garments. And he had a way about him as far as designing patterns that created shape for the body, which was exactly what I needed. I was plus size at that time. I didn't know I was going to be a plus designer, but I was always looking to create this particular silhouette with the garment. So he taught me that, and years went on. I went to school totally for something unrelated, and life would have it that I would just come back into fashion as an occupation, and here I am.
So let me ask you. So you said you went to school with something that was so unrelated to fashion. What was it, and why do you think that you didn't major in fashion? And when pretty much everybody in your family saw that you was so intrigued with fashion.
I went to NYU for economics. Actually, Jibri, that guy, he told me just get to New York. I was a good student. I had straight A's, and I was, I guess, considered to be kind of smart. And of course, my family, I'm Black, so I'm a Southern.
I didn't even know this.
I know. It was hard to tell. I just wanted to clear that up for your viewers that I am in fact Black. And my family, they're Southern roots, and I think it was, you kind of wanted your kids to have an occupation in something that was safe.
Right.
And since I had the grades, of course it was desired that I be a lawyer or a doctor or something like that. Even though no one pushed me towards that, but fashion school was not even a conversation. So he recommended, he said, just get to New York. Don't worry about what school you go to. Just get to New York. I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like once you get there, it's going to open your eyes to a lot of things. And he never told me, hey, I think you really have a chance as a designer. And like I said, I never even had a clue that that's where my life would head. So I applied to one school, which was NYU. I got in. I didn't care what I was majoring in. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I just went, and it was economics, and you know, the rest
I
is
think
history.
you're the only person I know that got a degree in economics. Hold up,
Really?
in Funky Dineva. You
Okay.
and Funky Dineva, the only two people that I know that got a degree in economics.
uh,
Back at Florida State University, his degree in economics.
oh,
So, so between the time of your degree in economics and Jibri, how long was that? And like, what really triggered? Okay, I'm really going to take this serious as a career.
um, so we do talk every day, so I am a job hopper. I've had 42 jobs in my life. So when I finished school, I was probably on job number 10 or 11 by then, and I just worked. I mean, I tried to work in fashion a little bit. I wasn't polished enough. I didn't have the polish to go with it, and I was plus. So I don't know if that. Let me not say that because I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I just wasn't polished enough for the New York fashion scene per se. And but I did have that degree in economics, so I started working on Wall Street actually, and I made my clothes. One of the other jobs I had is I worked at Century 21. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like
Oh yeah, Century 21 is amazing. Century
right,
21 is like the Neiman Marcus slash Nordstrom's of New York with like discounted
right,
clothing,
all
like
discount,
high
like a
end.
real fancy TJ Maxx, basically.
Right. Very fancy TJ Maxx.
Yeah, so I worked there, and I would get my hands on like all these amazing garments, and because I got a discount and I worked in the men's department in the basement, I would get these awesome pieces and buy two and make my clothes. I put it together, and when I was working in my Wall Street job, people were always commenting on my clothes. Like, oh my God, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? And when you make clothes,
So
you
okay,
don't know.
stop. Okay, stop. So she's being real modest about her conversation because she really skimmed over the situation with Wall Street. What did you do on Wall Street?
I worked at a company called, oh, not probably not supposed to say the company, but I worked in direct investment. So the department that I worked in was to help clients who didn't have brokers who were
Mhm.
doing their own investments, and it was like telecommunications. So
Okay.
that's in that side.
So you know a little bit about stocks and all that good stuff.
Just a little tiny bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, but there, I would come to meet one of my very best friends who was he really poured into my creativity and kind of pushed me out there, even inadvertently. I don't even know if he knew that he was, but
Right, and you're referring to Mark, right?
yes, Mark.
Okay, yeah, I gotta tell you, we gotta tell you about the story that Mark wanted to fight me, child.
Oh
Mark,
yeah,
Mark wanted
Mark
to fight me.
he wanted to put them hands on Reco.
Act up, you can get snatched up.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah,
Go ahead.
he was kind of a cool kid, and he was like into my look, and it gave me a little extra bit of motivation on it. I didn't know if people were saying, "Oh my God, you look so cute to be fat," or if they were saying, "You really look cute." And
Right,
at a certain point, the it became obvious that I wasn't the only woman of size that loved fashion. And
right.
so, many years would pass. I would have many, many more jobs. And I finally lost one of those last jobs. And the guy I was dating at that time said, "Hey, why don't you try to sell some of your dresses?" And I said, "I don't care, maybe." So I opened the Etsy shop and I started selling right away. And that has been it.
So how much money did you start with? So how much money did you start Jabri online with?
Jewelry. Ooh, I'm gonna say a cool $55,
Hold
but
up, $55.
$55. I had no money. Like I said, I had lost my job. One of the things I was doing to make ends meet was I was making costumes for the girls of the night.
The
In
girls
the
of the night. You talking about the strippers,
yes, the
the
gentleman
Magic
club,
City girls, strokers, Queen
Strokers, Magic
City.
City, Queen City, Babe, Fulton Industrial, all those clubs. And
Ooh,
I
not
would,
Fulton Industrial. But go
yep,
ahead. You
I
was
took
with
my little
baby.
$55 and I took my little $55 and bought about maybe $10 worth of fabric, found a credit or something at Walmart and bought me a little $89 sewing machine, made some little costumes, went there, sold them, return the machine, repeats,
Girl, I
bought
used
it.
to return a machine too. I'm not
Yeah,
even gonna lie. If it
it was
gets
a thing. And actually, what the stripper, I did theme costumes. I've always been kind of, themey with my stuff, and I would make these. I guess they were themed to me. I mean, I've never been a stripper, although that was, if I could, one thing I wish I could have done in this life, I would have loved to be a stripper just one night.
me
Just
too.
one, just one night.
Slim D.
It was something
That would have
about
been
it.
my name, Slim D.
Slim. Oh, mine would have been
Slim
Big
D.
D. Okay. Um, so one of the girls was like, "These are real clothes. Can you make me something for my birthday?" So it was just little bits and pieces of people saying little stuff like that here and there. And I said, maybe, this could be a thing.
So I met you. I was a judge years ago at Ingenue. This is when
Right.
the big brother wanted to scrap me and fight me. And back in the day in the Atlanta fashion scene, and I'm painting a scene for the people that's viewing. Uh, they had this place called Ingenue. Ingenue was like the breath of fresh air for fashion designers. I won this competition, and I was a judge. And Jibri was one of the fashion designers that showed. Tell us about that night and the night you showed, and and how what you had to go through as a plus size designer and all that good stuff.
So if I go back to the interview days, that was about, I think that's been 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So I still wasn't officially a brand yet. I wasn't saying anything. I was really just testing the waters. And okay, so I don't even know if you know this part. A girl that's a hairstylist invited me to some kind of casting for designers that would make the garments for Bronner Brothers. So I went there. I had about 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 little looks, and they were probably a little weird. So I didn't get chosen. But there was a young lady there, and she was like, "Hey, they're having this designer competition at this club called Ingenue. I think you should, I would like to put you in it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I had no experience, never done a fashion show before, never a collection, never anything on that level at all. So I was completely unknown. I didn't know how to pick models. I didn't know how to pull together anything like that. But I did it. I had like 3 models, I think, maybe 4. I had a gap in the runway. I picked my music right there on the spot. I mean, it was like a myriad of things that were happening, but I still managed to, I guess, do okay. Because I did move it was like when you win one section, you go to the next.
A prelim.
Yeah, something like that. So I made it to the next part. So, you were safe the first time. But the second time, I think I got a little bit more ambitious with what I was trying to make and probably got in my head a little bit. And you got on the microphone and said, so I remember I know exactly what look you were talking about. I had made like a little bikini for one of the girls, and Mark had this big fur hat that he had gotten in Moscow. So I was trying to use this hat to combine the swimwear with the winter wear. I was young. And I think I put like some faux fur, a little faux fur strip across the swimsuit thing for the girl. And you were like, if you people would support these indie Black designers, they will be able to get real fur.
So just to let y'all know, I've been the same for 20 plus years about my designers. I'm real serious about all designers. It probably came off a little bit offensive.
I was like, oh, okay. And so when you said that, like, I think the other lady that was there was like, I don't think she made these pieces anyway, which I did. I mean, they weren't even that great.
They accused me of not making my clothes too.
Yeah, she's like, I don't think she made them. And anyway, it just turned into like a snowball effect from that point. I don't even remember what else happened. I think my ears just kind of blacked out at that point because I was embarrassed, but I didn't take it to heart. I kind of was like, okay, what does a collection make? How do I want to put together my things? What does cohesive mean to me? And I've been, that moment kind of stuck with me throughout the years. I still don't do cohesive in the same way that some people do. But I still remember that conversation.
Nikki from YouTube says the shade.
Yes,
shade.
Nikki. It was a little shade there.
If you guys have any questions, feel free because it's streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. In Trinity, this is not a drag show. Naomi Camp Creek was last week. She was taking a place. I was out of town. So
Oh,
I'm back now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm actually reading both things while we're doing the interview.
Rico
So
always
yeah.
for the black designer. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong about that. But I wasn't in a position to get supported by anybody at that point. I wasn't good enough, really. I was just a person who had a spark. And I can say, I think almost everyone in that show, I don't know how many are left.
To be honest, Jasmine, oh my God, this makes me really emotional. It's me and you. It's me and you out of those, what, 15, 16
It was
years
like
ago?
15 designers, yeah.
Yeah, the only I know Edmund Newton DeAndre, which was a friend of mine. He won that
Mhm.
season you showed.
Okay.
He did Project Runway. And I think I don't know what he's doing now. We no longer we just grew apart.
Okay.
Um, but I think out of that, it's really me and you that actually has a physical line, a physical showroom. And Jasmine is currently right now in her amazing showroom.
Warehouse,
She in her warehouse. She has about 2,000 square feet. And she does anything.
3,500.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 3,500 square feet. Oh, bitch, I'm sorry.
I'm just
Um,
saying. I mean,
I'm sorry.
size does matter, Size does
Yes.
matter.
Oh, they say it, and a little Hennessy does too. I just inside joke, y'all. Inside joke. But and what was what's so intriguing about Jasmine, I never met somebody that I felt. This may sound crazy, but y'all know how my mouth feels. It is. I felt that we was like on the same level as far as numbers. We could talk about numbers. We can talk about building out. We can talk about pop-up shops. We can talk about clothing. We can talk about customers. And that's what I want to go into next about customers. Me and you have some candid conversations about how should we handle customers, and mainly our customers. Jasmine has a more diverse brand than I do, but I mostly have a 99.9% Black clientele. But we get weird people that come at us so sideways. And my motto is to get customer service good. To get good customer service, you must be a good customer. Like, how do you handle your customers, your customer service, and those people that tend to be a little bit that way?
All right. Well, I'm constantly challenging myself to not be a part of whatever stereotype that people feel is associated with businesses that are owned by people of color. So I always try to
And you're meaning people of color or Black people?
Black people.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing for other
Right.
communities. So I do try to always offer the best service. I mean, me being my client being a plus size woman, I go into it thinking about how my experiences have been as a plus size woman.
Okay.
Where most of the time the clothes are in the back of the store or in the basement or pushed in the corner or something like that. So for me, size is very important. As far as like having a showroom that is spacious and comfortable and inviting. This is not my showroom, y'all. So this is my customers don't see back here. This is my workspace. But
Right.
having a beautiful restroom and having like all the bells and whistles that I can have on my level as an indie brand. So I travel with these shows. Like I am a stickler for the aesthetics of the way things look when I invite clients in, because I know what it feels like to never have that as the way that you're getting treated when you're going to spend your money.
Mm-hmm.
For various reasons, but I know plus size women, that has always been a thing. Like if you go,
But
and this
let
is
people know
something,
what aesthetics do you mean? Like, I know, but
mm,
what do you mean by aesthetics?
um, what I just real plain. Like I like things to be clean and glamorous and beautiful. I like things to be larger for my clients, because the first time, just this is something you may never encounter, but if you go into a bathroom or a fitting room and you touch the wall with your hip or your booty, this is no longer fun. Now all you're thinking about is the fact that you're too tight in this fitting room. Oh my God, I'm gonna tear these clothes up. Oh my God, I'm gonna knock this down. Oh my God, this, oh my God, that. And so I want to make sure that my clients are always very comfortable in their settings. I try to make it as nice as possible, depending on where I'm traveling. Because if I'm in New York, the locations are not as easy to find. The better places for an indie budget because I'm self-funded.
Right.
But of course, in the southern states, it's easier to, get a ballroom, or not a ballroom, but you can rent spaces that are nicer quality. But yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
important.
Right. So because people are commenting, saying that your presentation is always impeccable. And Toya Jetter saying that she's saying that this is so true about when you go in the dressing room, and you bend over or you go to the side, it's not enough space. It's it's a little cramped tight. And I will say, knowing you and knowing what you look for aesthetically, as far as your venues for your fashion show. You did your 10-year anniversary show last year,
Mhm.
and I found myself looking at restrooms because
Right.
I'm a women's wear designer, and I remember this venue was so absolutely amazing, and I went in the restroom. I was like, oh my god, I can't use the
Right.
restroom. I mean, I can't use this venue because of the restroom. So, tell us a little bit about that,
About
and your experiences about pretty much how, like you said, they put plus size in the back of the
Oh
store.
yeah, yeah,
They
that's
give
the
you
thing. It's like
so
plus size. These are
they give y'all
yeah,
gray, and navy.
they do. They get the clothing, but beyond the clothing, it's just the presentation. It's like even if it was, Dolce, some high end designer, if it was diamond studded, it's like they're serving it to us on a trash can. So, a trash can lid. It's always in the back. It's always on the bottom. It's always in a small space. It's always cramped up. But right now, I will say in fashion, we are kind of experiencing a plus size revolution where, plus size is the new black. So people are trying to make things more inclusive, and it's harder for them because you know, little things like I suffered with trying to make things have hanger appeal because I'm
Right.
a designer that I like to work with lots of fabric to create the correct shape for the garments. But that on a hanger can sometimes look a little, it's
Gloss.
not right. It won't look the best. So that may be a reason that department stores or boutiques would not put the plus size things, in visible situations. Maybe they didn't know how to merchandise it. I mean, I'll try to give them the benefit of that. I don't know what the reasons for have been, but it's now very obvious that these women want to be served. They want to be treated as equals. They want to shop with their friends and feel beautiful and lovely. And like, I mean, you already know you have the weight, or even the weight is not really a thing, for everybody. Sometimes, it is who you are, but you don't want to go somewhere and spend your money and feel that, you're inferior because of your weight. So,
So let me ask you this. So in 2020, if you, after all you have learned in over the past 10 and a half years, and if you could tell little Jasmine at 20 something, 30 plus years old, what would you tell her or any other young designer when they're starting in not only the plus size business, but the fashion business, period?
when they're starting, I would want them to really think about who their client is. Who are you making these clothing for? Whenever I come across young designers, that's always the first thing I ask them. I ask them who is their
Right.
customer, and like I do sometimes ask who is their favorite designer because I find that a lot of young, designers are not even they're not really knowledgeable about who came before to have any references or any knowledge of certain things that have before them. As
Right.
far as who your customer is, you meet people that'll say, "Oh, everyone," and that's not possible.
No, it's
Everyone,
not.
everyone can't be your customer. You can't even just say all men. It's not all men. It might be men that are athletic, men that play golf. I mean, you can even break that down. Oh, athletic. Okay, golf. Okay, professional golf. Like it could be. You can break it all the way down, and that can be your niche. So I do encourage young designers to connect themselves with who this person is. Who do you see wearing these clothes? Where are they wearing them to? So you can identify who you're targeting when you
Oh,
begin your journey.
so now the whole entire world is at pretty much at a pandemic, and a lot of designers are looking for ways to make money, loans, just the means to survive. What are you doing as a designer of today to survive in this crazy market I mean, this crazy world of um, this virus?
Well, the first thing I did was thank God, of course, for my health and the health of my family. And the second thing was that I thank God that I have never outsourced. That a part of my vision was that I had my own manufacturing because I was very meticulous. Honestly, coming into the plus size industry, I know what wasn't here before I was here. And
Mm-hmm.
for many, many years, the shape of the clothing was void. So I knew that I wanted to be connected to the garment to make sure my things were made the way I wanted them to be made. So I didn't even
So
really know. Yeah,
that's why you have the big warehouse in back of you with the sewing
right,
machines over there on the side
right,
and all that. Yeah, okay.
right. Because I do my own manufacturing here. So I have my own employees here. I oversee it all here. I make my own patterns here. And so during the pandemic, there are lots of people who are going to have, I don't know, I don't want to say a difficult time, but like that's one thing I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about if I need to change what I'm making tomorrow, which I honestly did. My spring collection, I transformed it into a loungewear collection right there, right on the dot,
So you was able
because
to move quick,
it was
quick.
just like that. I didn't have to call anyone and change samples. I didn't have to do any of that. I just had to go to the back, get on my table, sketch out my pieces, and get to work. And
Right.
so for me, it's moving with the times, and I'm using, since I was my original client and I was the woman that I designed for, I'm using me in this case too. What am I looking for? What do I want? So originally, okay, we're all at home, loungewear. Okay, cool. Then what happens after that? Then I'm feeling like women are going to need clothes to move quickly, to be comfortable, to go back out into the world as we learn how to live in this new world. But it may be a little less, Louboutin stiletto and a little more Chuck Taylor. So then I'll need to pivot my garments to work for that woman to still have her, glamorous but comfortable to be able to move until we get back to normal.
Right, 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 right. So I took that same model as far as manufacturing
Mhm.
in-house, hence the warehouse, and that's one of the things that kind of connected us or whatever. Like, how did you know? Like, I know the answer, but like that time when you invested that money into your warehouse, into the first warehouse, like I'm sure you was sorting out your house. Like,
Right.
what was that time when you jumped over that fence and was like, okay, because I know you have a child. I know you're very well connected with your family.
Right.
Like, what was that jumping that moment where you was just like, okay, I got to take this a lot more serious, and I have to make that leap into a whole new situation with the warehouse because that comes with a whole new bottle of tricks.
Right. Absolutely. Well, honestly, like I said, I started on Etsy, which is for home crafters. If you don't know Etsy, it's kind of like eBay for people who for crafters, basically. And so the whole mantra of eBay is that it is people working from home. So I had a whole studio in my basement at home, but I ended up with a neighbor that was probably the gift and the curse. She was like the spawn of Satan, but also maybe a little bit of an angel on my shoulder at the same time
I
because
had one of those too.
oh my God, this
Also
lady was crazy. She was really, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before. She was obsessed with me and stalked me and called the police on me about 9 million times. I never had any clients. I was Etsy. I was completely online based, but it just got to the point I couldn't deal with it anymore. So I gone to court. I paid the code enforcement, and I just happened to be driving home one day and I saw a sign for a warehouse. Got off the highway, called the lady. She met me here 30 minutes later. I signed the lease the next day. And I say the gift and the curse because I wasn't ready necessarily. I didn't feel, I didn't even need to move. I had a full finished basement with a full production in my basement. I was fine. But had I not moved here, I wouldn't have been able to employ more people. I wouldn't have had the space to grow. I wouldn't have been able to move as quickly as I have in this, even though I am a turtle. I am a self-admitted turtle. I
Oh, I get on
still
her about that all the time, y'all.
I am a turtle. I am a little bit of a turtle. I The space has just physically been bigger, and mentally it's also been bigger. It just turned it into a real business. Now I can't even sew a button on at home because home is home and work is work. And
Right.
I love that.
So Adrian Holyfield says, do you find that ready-to-wear designers are faring better than the custom designers designers because of the pandemic? I don't know what she means by that, but I'm
I think
thinking.
I know what she means. I think she's saying, does it say custom designers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Ready,
yeah, because
ready to
okay,
wear
well,
designers versus custom.
yeah, because if you're a custom designer, then you're not even seeing clients. So how could you do that in the pandemic? If you're
Well,
ready
I'd say we talked about this. So to me, I'm a firm believer that you got to have money coming in everywhere. And
mm-hmm,
I was predicting that I was going to make about $20,000 this prom season,
mm-hmm,
and it kind of cut in half because I still had those proms, but I still had my ready to wear situation. So I felt like you shouldn't kind of just cut off your options. You should have all options available, and you got to be able to switch in times. But you can go ahead and answer the question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, so I guess then you would be a part of a person who did it more with ready to wear and not with custom. So if you're a person that and your entire career is wedding gowns or something like that, there's lots of ideas that I could give you to pivot through that. But if you are wedding gowns and that's all your laser focus on wedding gowns, um, you're gonna need to figure something out because ready to wear people are probably gonna be able to pivot a little bit better because they have things that still work with a person that doesn't leave the house as much. If you're a
Right.
custom gown maker, I mean, there's no events, so there's not going to be a need for a custom gown right now.
Right.
But again, if you're creative, you already come up with whatever business it is. I don't know if Adrian is a designer. There's lots of ways that even custom gown designers or custom piece designers can still interact with their clients and keep themselves moving, even during the pandemic.
Exactly. So, with all this funding available, we talk every morning about, did you find any money? Did you apply for this? Did you apply for that? How is that experience? What have you learned? And did you get any money, girl?
Well,
Did
I
you
have
get any
applied.
money? Did you get
Not
anything,
a
child?
dime. I haven't gotten a dime from that. I've gotten a dime from putting some elbow grease in, but none from any other funding situations. I'm still not 100% sure if I won't get anything because I have literally applied for everything. I tell Reco okay, we got to do this form today. We need to upload this form and we need to submit this to the IRS. And I'm doing it all. Anything that I can do to align myself with the businesses that have been able to benefit from the resources for small businesses, I have absolutely tried all the grants, all the loans, all the forgivable loans. I've tried it all. So as of now, no, I have not been successful in that. But I still have hope.
Right. Right. So did you see on we gotta talk a little bit, a little tea. The
Okay.
guy from Love and Hip Hop with the trucking company, he got arrested on fraud charges. They gave him $2.2 million and he went and bought a Rolex, at least a Rolls Royce. Like how do you feel like, and I do know a lot of people that have taken the loans, the money, and used
Mhm.
it for something totally different. Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's unfortunate that people are taking advantage. I mean, I don't think he probably, I don't know this man from a can of paint, and I don't
Right,
know that he did it maliciously. Did he know that $2.5 million could have floated my business or your business
right.
or Adrian's business? I don't know that he even thought about the people he was hurting by taking that money from the pool. I just think he was a silly criminal and not that smart either because at least spend
So
it on something underground. Don't spend it on something that the whole world sees and then you get caught like next day or you know.
right, he could have gave us $100,000 a piece, and we could have flipped
Nothing.
that to
Some hush
right
money.
because
I would have
we
taken
could
them
have
up
made
like
that dirty money work.
right.
So, so what do you think that since this pandemic is happening and we don't know how the world is going to interact with each other in 6 months? How do you think moving forward? What ideas do you have for the young fashion moguls that are watching? The young girl that's sitting in her living room watching or on YouTube that's saying that I want to be a fashion designer, but I don't even know where to start right now. What do you think? What ideas do you have for those for those children that want to get in this industry?
Well, right now you have time on your hands. So this is the best time to study, research things, really think about who your client is, what they want, what they need, because we're moving from a time of what people want to what people are going to need. So
Right.
use your creativity to figure out your customer. So if your customer is the athletic male that plays golf, what is he going to need now? Because he might not be able to play golf, or will he? If he golfs, does he need different gloves now to protect him? Does he need full body little suits or something? Like, think about all the things that that particular client may need to be able to carry on in his life or her life. Um, I think that, yeah, I think that's the best thing, is use this time for research.
So I'm gonna tell you a little small story right quick. So when I was at Tennessee State majoring in architecture engineering, and when I told my father that I was a designer, he was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe my son is a fashion designer." And he was like, "Do they make any money?" And I was explaining to my father, like, even if we broke out in the war, I would be fine because I can make uniforms. I can make uniforms. And even now, a lot of people are making masks.
Right.
And I was so against making masks in the beginning because I just didn't, I felt that a lot of people was taking advantage
Mm-hmm.
of the situation of the not the proper mask, but you're making
Mm-hmm.
masks now. I
Mm-hmm.
have a sub company that's making masks. So how has that been lucrative for your brand?
Well, the mask kind of came out of necessity. I also was a little slow on the mask wagon. Um,
Mhm.
but it was obvious that it was a need. And when they kept, people kept connecting me to these tweets that were asking, government officials were asking people who sew, if you can sew, can you help with this? And then, yeah, well, I got all this space and I have these workers and I don't want to let my workers go. So, and that was like in the first maybe 2 to 3 weeks after the lockdown began, when we weren't really sure what was going to happen.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, let me just take some of the fabric that I have here that works for breathable cotton, washable mask, and not, leather or canvas or things that people can't breathe through and they might suffocate to death and die in the street. Um, yeah, I didn't use that fabric, but some people did, and I thought that was a terrible idea.
Right.
However, people who are making masks that people can actually breathe through and kind of go in line with the CDC's recommendation. Why not? Why not do that? That's, it's something to do. Everybody needs them. That is a need. So if you're a young designer in your home and you can sew and you have access to materials, go ahead. You know.
Right. So Nikki Season says, would you ever lower your brand price point during the pandemic, knowing that the greater impact it would have on your brand in the future?
Um, was that for me?
Uh-huh. Would you lower your prices for just a
Well,
go-
my prices aren't really based on like a climate situation. You know, they're based on what it costs to make the garments and release them. So if there were things that I put out, like for example, the mask, obviously those aren't the same price point as my normal garment. So there may be things that are included in my line now, or my brand in general. Like I've also added head wraps because that's a need for
right.
women who aren't going to salons right now. So yeah, those prices aren't the same as my normal pieces either. But like
Some,
my previous pieces, no.
now somebody asked both of us. No, girl. No, well, and I tell people like this, when you're doing, I do I do my ready. I call it luxury ready to wear, and I do have my 79 to 20 my $29 to $79 ready to wear dresses, which my stretch pieces that everybody called it. I love to death. And I also have my peplum sets, and I have my peasant pieces that go from 250 on up, and then I have my t-shirts. At the moment, to be honest, right now there's no need for me to, because they're selling just fine. And I will say that I've kind of can built this brand to where I don't have to fight as hard to impress the masses. They know when, and this one right along with Jibri, we talk about it all the time. It's the quality. when I make a piece, they know what they're getting. They're familiar with the piece. It's been 20 years. They're comfortable. So even in the beginning, I didn't have time to do any masks. And the masks that I've done has been very collegiate based to my school, Tennessee State. I've only provided it to them. I just recently launched 3 different types of masks yesterday. You can go on houseofchappelle.com for that. But I really kind of felt no need to just drop my prices drastically low. I'm working on my spring collection now, my spring summer collection now. And it's pretty much the same prices. Because at the end of the day, we talked about this yesterday, everybody is not broke in the world. Everybody is not struggling. I think we're in a situation to where my clientele as an African American mainly based, that those are my girls and those are my guys. So if I say a gown or a suit is $1,000, they're okay with paying $1,000, and if they can't wear it until next year, they're fine of holding the suit to next year. But I have more things from a t-shirt to a stretch dress or a peplum set that is way lower. And I do that purposely, just so when anybody log on to houseofchappelle.com, they can feel comfortable. They can feel comfortable being there whenever I decided to do a brick and mortar, they can come in and feel comfortable in knowing that whatever budget they have, they can afford something, you know.
Right.
And everybody knows if you get caught stealing, I'm sending you to jail and I'm blasting you on Instagram. So what's next for Jibri?
Right now, I guess this would be based on the climate. Like I said, I'm kind of moving as a work in progress. So everything that I find that I need are things that I would like.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but everybody's asking, what is your website?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Jibri, and that's JIB as in boy, RI online, one word. JIBRI online.
Jibri online. Jibri online. You got that? Okay.
You could type that up on the screen. It's right.
Well, let me see. Let me check down my cash app, girl. You know I'm trying to get a little coins, honey. Let me change that, honey.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Let me see. Can I get that? Let's see. Jibri online.
Yeah.
.com.
Yes, sir.
Let me take my cash app. Let me take my cash app down, child.
You know.
Yeah, I will give you a little something. There you go. Let's show that. That is her website right there. Jibri
yeah,
online.
That's my website, and all of my social handles are under Jibri online as well. Facebook, Instagram. I have Twitter, but I'm not very vocal there. But any of my socials can be found under Jibri online.
Okay, before we leave, so it's sunny outside. Miss Corona is terrorizing us all. If we get somebody to beat up Miss Corona and we get to go outside, what is the first thing you're gonna do, girl? I mean, I know the real answer, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
I'm gonna have to have a spa day with a spa day. I need it all. I need the hair. I need the lashes. I need my brows. I need to go get my teeth cleaned. I need some I need my microdermabrasion on my elbows, on my knees. I need a full body scrub. I need all the things. All the things.
And I want all that too. And I want it done at one time. I just want to lay butt naked on the table. I want some Chinese man to grease me up. Or a big Chinese man to grease me up. Somebody doing my nails. Somebody scrubbing my feet. Somebody working on my edges. I want to get all that service done at one time, baby.
I agree. I agree. Just lay me on a table and just spray me down. Just spray me
down, scrub me down, get the crust off my heels. Baby, I'm telling you, my heel got stuck to my sheet the other night. I said, "Oh
no!" You have to try this thing I'm doing called baby foot. It's you have to try it. I didn't even think that until I saw that expression on your face. But this is like a foot exfoliator, and it kind of takes like 2 weeks to work its way off. You're so gross. You're gross. That's him, people.
So no. I get what you're saying, baby's foot. But the thing is, I've heard so many bad things about it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Like your feet be looking like it's like. So at the end of the day, how does at the end of it, how is it?
At the end of it, your foot is as smooth as it was when you were a baby. It's just
Really?
the process, getting there is a little, yeah, it's kind of gross. It's like a
Mm.
snake, like all the skin peels off of your entire foot.
Oh, okay. Well, cute, cute.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to try that, child. You said baby's foot.
yeah,
Okay. So I just want to let you guys know that doing a live, I really like conversating about fashion.
mhm,
At the end of the month, I'm doing a free online class about fashion. And it's called Fashion Mobile Workshop. It's a free class, and I'm talking about starting an e-boutique, just so you can make some extra income during this pandemic. We're going to talk about where you can order supplies from, where you can order materials, what things that you can sell, how you can identify from your friend, from your following, from your Instagram, from your Facebook, what items that you can sell. So you guys can go to houseofchappelle.com for that, and you can sign up for the class. And actually, no, it's June. I think it's the first Monday in June. So check on houseofchappelle.com for that. But Jasmine, I really appreciate this interview, and I think one of the things I badgered you about this interview because I think the world need to see the inner workings of Jibri. Like I see you getting up. I see you having your baby with you. I see you taking your baby to daycare, to the hospital, to the doctor. Your employees, this and your crazy employees. Cause girl, she got some crazy employees, girl. And you even having a balance of a family and making sure you're not only big sister Jasmine, you're the daughter Jasmine, you're the auntie Jasmine, you're the mom Jasmine. I really appreciate your story, and it really looks like from the response from Facebook and Instagram. Bobby Gal says y'all make sure y'all support Black businesses, but
yeah,
but but I would tell you this to people that say support Black business. I'm just a business that happens to be Black. You know, give me the same respect that you give a Neiman Marcus. Give me the same respect that you give a JC Penney's, bitch. We just gonna I don't care if it's Family Dollar. Give me the same respect. And I always say, in order to get good customer service, give good customer service. So don't come in there with this type of
right.
attitude. And at the end of the day, we can work it out like two adults and come to a great agreement. And everybody's loving that comment. We can
What
work
comes
it out.
the Black businesses?
Yes, yes, exactly. Stop asking for free stuff. Uh, they
I would
got
say
big.
one thing I would like to say about the Black business thing is that as one, and I know it, and I have lots of friends that are business owners. My father is a Black business owner. I don't know that people think about. It's not a sympathy thing. It's just something that you don't realize is that when you're a smaller business, even Black, white, whatever you are, an indie brand is completely they're self-funded, so they don't have, say it takes 2 days to respond to your email, or whereas you might email Macy's and get a response in 10 minutes. Macy's has a customer service department. Macy's has, a budget and allotment for 15 or 20 people to work in a call center and answer your calls. I know that because one of my 42 jobs was working in that call center answering those
Yes,
calls.
42.
So I knew that, but I just want just bear with them, give them a chance. You don't know our talents for the restaurants and the hairstylists and the nail techs and the scientists and the all these different things that people of color are doing. Um, they're doing it not always with the support of loans and things like that other people may have. So a lot of times the actual product is superior to anything that you're going to get somewhere else. But you just have to be a little bit patient with them while they're going through growing pains. You're going to learn things along the way as a small business owner to try to improve. I absolutely have. I knew that I needed to put people in place to answer certain questions because I am a person who likes to be on the creative side and not so much on the customer interface side. So just give them a chance. That's all. I just think that
Right.
sometimes people deal with a small business and they get so up, one time something happens and not something crazy, but it might be that, you didn't get a response to your email as quickly as you would have liked to. But just think about that. You have one person who might be buying the flour, buying the sugar, sifting the flour, beating the eggs, making the cake, decorating the cake, making the box, doing the deliveries. So yeah, they might not be able to answer the phone quite as quickly or respond to an email quite as quickly.
Exactly, exactly. On that note, thank you guys for tuning in to Talking Live with Reco with our special guest, Miss Jasmine Elder for Jibri. And make sure you guys log on to Jibri online to check out buy one of them hot masks and make sure you stay home. Share, like this video, tell your friends about it. When you go to Jibri and buy something, go to House of Chappelle and buy something, tell your friends, tell your mama, and all that good stuff. And I appreciate you guys for logging on and watching us. Amazing people do amazing things. And we will talk to you later. Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.